the TV clip showed Brandon Brown on the sideline talking to your quarterbacks yesterday. I wasn't there, but I was curious, how common is that for you to have the front office, Joe, Brandon especially, on the sideline? And is that like them being part of strategy, or why you have the front office talking to your quarterbacks during games?
Yeah, it's not because of strategy. If we're on the road game and the front office doesn't have a box, then they come down on the sideline, which has happened, say, a number of times.
Is that something you welcome? Like, my research this morning tells me it's rare but not unheard of. So is that something you welcome because of the collaborative process here?
Yeah, I mean, they go down and watch the game from the sideline instead of up in the box. So that's what they're doing, watching the game.
Thanks.
Yep.
Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Brian.
Paul.
Hey. I'm wondering, how do you divide up, after games when you're, after a loss or something, and a lot of times you say it's on me, blame me, that was a bad call, things like that, and dividing that up, which is pointing out mistakes in players that players do. Obviously, there are mistakes that happen, and sometimes you point them out. Most often, you don't. How do you kind of figure out what's the right strategy there?
Yeah, well, we have team meetings, after games, and go through the tape, big picture stuff, and we talk about things that we can correct in those meetings and improvements that we need to make, specific plays, whatever it may be, situational stuff. But after a game, you like to go back and watch it, and then you talk to the players about it, talk to the coaches, and do the things you need to do to try to correct it.
Is there something about being public? Coaches have used public to criticize or to point out things. You don't do that very often. Is that just a philosophical thing that you take it to the player and not put it out?
Yeah, I think that's important. It's important for me to talk to, whether it's the players or the coaches, to go ahead and make the corrections. Everybody's going to make a mistake and try to fix it, but I'll do that in team meetings. These guys put a lot of effort into things. Everybody does, and good or bad, when we go through it, that's the setting that I choose to do it in. But again, I'm the head coach, so I'm the head coach. I'll accept responsibility.
Do you feel that gives you some equity with players? When that you got to tell them to them straight, but you tell them to them straight behind, in the building and not out in public.
Yeah, look, I just try to do what I think is best for the football team, for the players, for the coaches, and that's the way I approach it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Rock.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Tom.
I think there's a hi, Brian. I think there's a natural inclination to sort of say, at this point, kind of the season can't end fast enough, right? How do you keep focused on the two games and not the obvious changes that are going to happen in everybody's lives one way or another after these two games?
Well, you focus on the next game, Tom. So we have a game here in a week. And you put everything you got into it, just like you do each and every week. And you focus on the task at hand.
Mm-hmm. I had another question about GVR, just kind of what you've seen, what you've gotten from him. I know you brought him in, as a player, but also a leader, and how he's filled out those roles for you.
Yeah, Carm had him at Vegas, and this guy's a true pro. Does everything the right way. How he is in the meeting rooms, how he is on a practice film, how he is with the players when they have extra meetings, how he is as a communicator on the offensive line. He's been a good veteran presence for our football team.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Tom Canavan.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hey, Tom.
Have you made a decision on how you're going to proceed this week with a quarterback?
Yeah, we watched the tape. Drew is actually getting an MRI today. So again, where that's at, he's getting it, I think, at 11:30 or 12 today. So I'll have more information relative to what that's about, and if it's anything. If it's not anything, usually guys are sore the next day. So we'll see where he's at after today.
And the MRI is on what?
It's on his shoulder.
Okay. And the other question I have is, I mean, we all saw Penix yesterday, and he looked like he played pretty well. This seems like an obvious question, but how important is it to have a young guy who looks like he can control the situation and be a team's quarterback of the future?
Yeah, I'd say it's very important. Yeah.
Thank you.
Evan Barnes.
Hey, Brian.
Evan?
Just looking at Tyrone Tracy, he had that touchdown back in the end zone. Just at this point of the season, we obviously talk about Malik and just what he's done this year, but just how have you been impressed with Tracy's growth? Just getting more comfortable this first season.
Yeah, he has more carries this year than he has his last couple years in college. He's continuing to get better. We're asking him to do different things. Obviously being a former receiver now, then a running back, and now a running back here. I think he's got a good mentor and motor. Joel Thomas does a good job with him. He's been productive when he's touched the ball, both in the run and the pass game, and good young player to continue to work with and develop. I think he's got a bright future.
And then second, we saw Michael went down. I guess is there any update yet on how he's looking?
No update. He's getting looked at here a little bit later, but he's he had a burner, so we'll see where that's at.
Thank you.
Yep.
Charlotte Carroll.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Charlotte?
Just to clarify, is Drew getting the MRI on his throwing shoulder?
Yeah, it's his right shoulder. Again, it could be nothing. Charlotte, they just gave it to me before I came down here, and we'll see where it's at.
Any other injury updates that you've got?
I just had, Micah's going to get looked at here. Tracy kind of re-aggravated his ankle a little bit, and so did John Michael.